Hello, hello, hello. My name is Cleo. Today we're going to read a story. This story is called A Serious Thought. There's something interesting about this storybook is that there's lots of pictures. There's no colors other than black and white. It's a very serious book. Let's get started and see what it's all about. A very serious thought. A serious thought. There once lived a little boy. You can barely see him. The little boy is walking away from the ball. I wonder what's wrong. One evening, he was playing happily, but then it was time for bed. Playing really happily. Look at the little smile on his face. Playing with his stuffies, probably had a yummy dinner, getting ready for bed. He drank a glass of milk. Gulp, 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 gulp. He brushed his teeth. He's doing a really good job getting ready for bed. I bet you do some of this stuff before you go to bed. He changed into his pajamas and crawled into bed. So cozy. Those look like cozy PJs. Doing a good job getting dressed. Usually, he fell asleep right away, but not tonight. Instead, he started to think all kinds of thoughts. He's wide awake in his bed. Do you ever feel that way sometimes when you go to bed? And you just can't sleep because you're thinking so hard about stuff? He's so serious. He's got lots of stuff rushing through his head right now. Dangerous thoughts. He's in a car. Are those alligators? A singing alligator? And he's driving. He's a little boy. Dangerous thoughts. Oh my goodness, that is a dangerous thought. Admirable thoughts. Oh, he's saving the kitty from all these other animals. That is admirable. That's something I admire about him. That's something I like about him. Admirable thoughts. He's going to save this cat from these scary other animals. Admirable. Questionable thoughts. Questionable. Things I would question. Things that wouldn't make a lot of sense. He shouldn't be standing on the table. He shouldn't be smashing dishes. Questionable thoughts. That's not right. He should be questioning himself. He should be asking himself why he would think about doing that. Beautiful thoughts. Wow, look at the butterfly. Look at that butterfly. And he's riding it. It's such a huge butterfly. He could ride it away over the ocean into the distance. Beautiful thoughts he's having. And he's just lying in his bed thinking. Frightening thoughts. Look at that. Scary monster. He's even hiding under the blanket, under the table. He's so scared. Frightening thoughts. He's having frightening thoughts. Thoughts that reached far and wide. So far. Look at him. He's in space. It's so far. He's thinking about climbing a ladder all the way up to the moon. Silly. Then, a very serious thought came to him. He thought of how our planet is but a teeny tiny marble floating in endless space. Compared to the size of the universe, Earth is so small. Earth is so small. Compared to the size of the entire universe is huge. It's enormous. You can't even imagine. And the Earth, the planet we live on, the whole world, is pretty small compared to that. And that's what he's thinking about. He's thinking about that fact. Very seriously, he's thinking about that fact. There's the Earth he's standing on, but the whole universe is enormous. He thought of how he was but one little boy among many other children, all living separate lives upon this little marble, this little Earth. There are lots and lots of people on this Earth. And he's thinking about the fact that he's just one of these many people in this teeny planet, in the whole universe. And that's a very serious thought to be having. What did he and his doings matter in the face of such incredible greatness, hugeness? And he doesn't realize yet that he matters so much. Every single one of us. We're all so important. It doesn't matter that I'm just one person or you're just one person on a world with lots of people. And the world is small compared to the universe. We're still so important. He's wondering, what does it matter? How do I matter? He doesn't realize. All of this made him very tired, so he closed his eyes and he fell asleep, feeling incredibly small and unimportant. I feel that way sometimes. I feel the way the little boy feels. That night he was restless. He couldn't sleep. He was tossing and turning. He was full of strange and perplexing, strange and odd, confusing dreams. Look at his dreams. Very odd. Sometimes when you feel a little bit stressed out or you go to bed a bit upset or a bit angry, you have really intense dreams. Sometimes they're scary and sometimes they're just weird and confusing. And that's the kind of night this little boy is having. And it just happens. In the morning, the thoughts were still on his mind, and they made him question things. It is really important to ask these big questions. I think it's a great question to ask. What do I matter? How can I do things that are important? Why am I important? There's a lot of reasons. You are special. You are unique. There's nobody else on this planet like you. And what you do affects people. What you do affects yourself. It affects your caregivers, your friends, your family. And guess what? It affects the entire world. When you do good things, the world is a better place. That's why you matter. That's why you're important. But he's still confused about this. He's feeling so stressed. He's having such serious thoughts. Let's see if he learns. Puzzled, he turned to his father for advice. But his father was too busy. His father's busy reading. He doesn't want to be bothered right now, and I know that doesn't feel good. But sometimes people need their space. Maybe he can ask someone else for help. Let's see. He went outside to play and forget everything. Yet nothing made him happy. That was another good strategy, to play something and maybe ask again later. It didn't quite work. It was a good try, though. Maybe you should try that strategy sometimes. He decided to leave the garden and go for a walk. I love to go for walks to clear my head. It makes me feel better a lot of the time. To go and get some fresh air, look at some nature, some animals, some people, some buildings. We live in the city, the hustle and bustle. There he goes on his walk. Leaves his gate. He passes this beautiful, beautiful tree. Off he goes, off he goes. Another beautiful tree with a little birdhouse. Maybe there's some birds in there tweeting. I hope it's a lovely walk he's going on. The sun is up. There's trees all around, and he's going on this path. Having a nice walk. All the plants and flowers too. I bet they smell really good. I bet they look really beautiful. He was deep in thought when he suddenly realized he was lost. And he was alone in the middle of a huge, big forest. Uh-oh. What's he gonna do? What is he gonna do? A cat appeared before him, and it was friendly and it was soft. Look at him hugging that cat, giving a big hug. Oh. He followed the cat, hoping it would know where to go. On the way, they noticed a little hedgehog underneath a fern. This little fern is like a big tree next to this little hedgehog. You can see the fern? It's like a huge tree next to the hedgehog, which is so tiny. And next to me, he is even smaller. Next to this little boy, he's even smaller. Yet, it doesn't seem to bother him at all. It doesn't bother the little hedgehog that he's so small. It doesn't bother the hedgehog at all. They stopped by a puddle, and a little frog popped his head out. Surprised, the boy thought to himself, "My, how small this little frog is compared to me and my giant reflection in the water." Yet, he truly seems happy. A teeny tiny frog. So small in this big body of water. Just like how the little boy was feeling so small in the big wide world. The frog is pretty happy. The frog is pretty comfy there. The hedgehog is pretty happy being small compared to the fern. Wandering onward, they found a nest of ants by a big tree. There were so many. They were all so busy building and living, being incredibly tiny. Didn't bother them at all. Didn't bother them even a little bit. Teeny tiny ants. Teeny tiny. They're building. And being teeny tiny is what makes them special. Doesn't bother them at all. At last, they saw a familiar house appear in the distance. Home! They found their way. Worry had left the boy's heart, and he no longer felt so small or unimportant. He feels a lot better now. He saw other small things in the forest that do their best work by being small, that are still important and still wonderful and still good at being what they are. Frogs, ferns, hedgehogs, ants. Once again, it was time for bed. He's back in bed. And it looks like he has a super nice sleep. In the big wide universe. Lots of stars. The end. Thank you very much, guys. That was a serious thought by an Estonian artist. The author is Jonas Taul, and I hope you enjoyed that story. Thanks for reading with me, and enjoy the rest of the Read With Me videos in the playlist. Bye, guys.